Right now at 5, family gatherings often mean there will be plenty of food. Melissa Alexis shows us how we can take care of our teeth this holiday season.
And it's a cool start to this Thanksgiving, but I'll have a full forecast coming up.
Plus, this holiday season is a season of giving. We'll show how you can give back to your community.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
I don't know where else I'd rather be, honestly, this morning.
I would rather be in bed. I would rather be asleep still, but that's okay because I get to work with Sam this morning and we're going to have a great start to our Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and we get to help everybody else kind of celebrate it from the very get-go.
Except for it's going to be pretty cold today, unfortunately. I don't know about you, but when I was leaving my house this morning, my car was a little icy. Freezing temperatures, but we can go ahead and take a look outside and we're going to talk about that. We've got temperatures right now just about 30 degrees, but it's going to drop another degree or two before we start to warm up for the day. So we've got these cooler temperatures for most of the day. We had a little bit of rain this morning all the way down to about I-44 and north, a little sprinkle across most of our areas, but you can see just east of Iola, just north of Yates Center, maybe a little snow overnight. Now, all of this rain, although most of the roads were clear on my way in today, still want to be careful with any bridges, any freezing, definitely on cars. I know I woke up to my windshields being frozen, so it's going to be still a pretty cool day, even though we don't have any more rain in the forecast today. Most of the clouds are out of here as well. Temperatures are going to continue to warm up, though. By 9 a.m., we're just about 31 degrees. By noon, we're about 36 degrees, so we're getting into the mid to upper 30s, but we're already cooling back down by 6 p.m. Now, our high for the day is a low 40s, about 40, 41, 42 across the area. But again, we're going to drop quickly as we head into tonight as well. It's going to feel like it's in the 20s by 8 p.m., but I'll have a full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Lindsay. As we go through the holidays, people may be eating more desserts and sugary foods, which can increase the risk of cavities. KOAM's Melissa Alexis spoke to a local dentist about how to maintain dental health during the holidays.
Pittsburgh dentist Rob Heron says during this time of year, there's an increased risk of developing a cavity.
We pretty much call this time of year the cavity season. Starts Halloween, October 31st, and runs pretty much through New Year's.
Desserts like apple and pumpkin pies are holiday favorites, but Dr. Heron says sugar can be a culprit of cavities.
Kids and adults need to be really careful about their intake of the chewy, sticky, gooey sugar.
He encourages people to find time during the holiday festivities to brush their teeth twice a day, remember to floss daily, and don't neglect your scheduled cleanings.
And the grooves of the teeth, that comes from sticky, chewy, sweet, sugary items like candy, Skittles, things along those lines. Kids, they just really need to brush most of the time, keep that brushing up, keep those grooves clean, and then adults need to make sure that they're flossing between their teeth.
He says the best way for parents to encourage dental health in their children is leading by example.
When parents show their kids what they do, so the parents are brushing twice a day, rinsing, taking care of their teeth, flossing, then the kids tend to follow along and habits become habits and they follow their parents.
But he doesn't think people should completely deprive themselves of their favorite holiday desserts.
You have some sugar, but how you treat that, you don't overindulge.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
According to the Mayo Clinic, tooth decay can lead to tooth infections and even tooth loss. A man from Exeter, Missouri is charged with murder and abandonment of a corpse. The Berry County Sheriff's Office says this man, Aaron Malone, called 911 and reported the possible abduction of Aspen Lewis. Surveillance video from a neighbor's Ring camera shows Malone arriving and leaving the home, with screaming captured while he was there. Deputies say they found blood on the road and on Malone's truck. Investigators say Malone eventually admitted to fighting with Lewis and disposing of her body. He took deputies to Lewis's body in a wooded area in Shellknob. Lewis's family says she and Malone were dating but had been together less than a year.
When it happened on Sunday night into Monday morning, people heard screaming, people heard gunshots, people heard things, seen things. and did absolutely nothing about it because it's a small town.
We have had prior calls at that residence for domestic violence, and we're pulling those calls now to see exactly how many we did have. But yes, we have had prior calls with these two individuals.
Autopsy results have not yet been publicly released. Malone's is scheduled to be in court next week. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Grace Lanes in Carthage, Missouri hosted a family fun bowling night. The Thanksgiving Eve event welcomed special needs children and their families to enjoy the snack bar, ice cream shop, arcade, as well as multiple lanes of bowling. Organizers say events like this means a lot to them.
We're blessed to have special needs in our family, so we know some of the difficulties it is at times to go out to special events. Sometimes it's just, people don't understand when kids kind of throw a fit or something, and it's easier to come here where it's laid back and a lot easier to go along with everything.
The special needs bowling night event was hosted by the Smith family. A challenge for KOAM takes place next week, but the gloves might not be coming off for this one. KOAM and Fox 14 are teaming up with KSN and KOADE to help raise money for the Salvation Army. The Media Bell Ringing Challenge takes place December 5th at the 7th Street Walmart in Joplin from 10 in the morning until 7:30 that night. Proceeds will go to the Salvation Army. Stop by and donate and help people in need this holiday season. In 2023, nearly 76 million people in the U.S. formally volunteered their time to organizations. Missouri is ranked 9th in the nation for volunteering. However, some organizations still need help. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has more.
We are always needing volunteers. This is our busiest time of year right now with our Christmas season.
Nathan Hicks is the EVS and volunteer coordinator at the Salvation Army in Joplin. He says they could use a few more helping hands.
Everything helps. Every group, every volunteer, every family.
And one of the things the Salvation Army hopes to find is bell ringers.
We're doing our campaign for our kettles. Our kettles are what bring in the money for our next coming year.
And it's so important, he's inviting everyone.
So whether it's an individual, a family, a church, every little bit helps, and it's always fun at the kettle.
Captain Bill Middendorf is the administrator for the Joplin Salvation Army. He says some of his best volunteers were once helped by the organization.
The best volunteers are the ones that have been helped by the Salvation Army in the past. They know what that money goes to when people are putting it in the kettles.
Another program both Middendorf and Hicks are passionate about is the Angel Tree. The program allows anyone in the community to buy tickets from a Christmas tree and buy what's needed on that ticket.
With just helping out with Christmas gifts, to put that extra little gift under their tree, or helping them out through the Christmas season, is a little extra just smile on their face.
The more that happens, the less the Salvation Army has to try spending money to purchase toys for the kids.
Volunteer Betty Billings says the program keeps her on her toes, but it's worth it for those in need.
It's just a lot of fun. It's very, very busy, but it makes Christmas for a lot of children and a lot of families.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
If you want to be a kettlebell worker or just volunteer at the Salvation Army, you can reach out to them online, via text, or Facebook. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Pitt State basketball kicked off their opener last night. We'll have the details for both men's and women's teams. Plus, IKEA warns of potential higher prices if President-elect Trump tariffs go into effect. And Lindsay will have your Thanksgiving Day forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Pitt State women's basketball has been red hot to begin the year. The girls have won 5 straight after losing their season opening contest. Meanwhile, the men's basketball team played their home opener yesterday afternoon. Starting with the women's team, Pitt State hosting the Arkansas Tech Golden Suns. Early in the first quarter, Macy Mays finds space in the paint, and her left-handed layup is good. Mays continues to attack the basket as she gets another layup. She led the Gorillas with 17 points on the afternoon. Still in the first half, Harper Schneider drives hard into the lane and hits the floor hard, but count the bucket and the foul. That would get her teammates and the crowd fired up. Pitt State with a 3-point lead heading into halftime. Second half, good ball movement. Hannah Nigels gets her shot from the top of the key. Then Grace Pyle starts to get involved and she gets that running layup for 2 points. Then Arkansas Tech gets a little lazy on their defense, leaving her wide open for the 3-pointer. Pitt State goes on to win its 6th straight game. Gorillas beat Arkansas Tech 75-55.
We wanted to be battle tested. This is an experienced group, and so we knew we needed to play a tougher schedule and get ourselves ready. So I think everybody's going to be, having a target on us just with records. They're going to see that we have a good record and be coming after us. And we're not really doing anything different. I think it's just that the girls are maybe playing with a little more patience.
And it's the home opener for Pitt State men's basketball as the Gorillas take on Arkansas Tech. We start off with Daryl Washington, who is working down low, spin move to the basket. He gives the Gorilla the first points of the day. Then some pick and roll action here as Washington gets the basket and the foul. He finished with 7 points and 3 boards for PSU. Still in the first half, the Gorillas find a way to get the ball to Avery Taggart. The Missouri Southern transfer is fitting in nicely with his new home. Then just before halftime, Pitt State starts to fire away. Tanner Mans drains that corner 3. Then RJ Forney puts one through transition. That same corner stays hot as freshman David Coben Jr. hits this 3-pointer. 3 straight threes from that same corner to close out the first half. Pitt State goes on to win their first home game of the year, 72-64. Missouri Southern women's basketball is playing internationally. The Lions defeat Inter-America de Puerto Rico, 68-32, that final score. Southern won both of their games in Puerto Rico. Ava Potts and McKenna Yokley each scored in double figures for MSSU. And there's still a month away until most of Division I college basketball begins conference play. Both OU and Mizzou men's basketball had games scheduled for yesterday evening. Oklahoma is in the Bahamas. OU begins the opening round of the battle for Atlantis, Sooners taking on Providence. OU wins close, 79-77. The Sooners will advance to the winner's bracket and play Arizona this afternoon. More SEC basketball taking place. In Mizzou Arena, the Missouri Tigers face former MIAA conference member Lindenwood. Mizzou wins with ease as the Tigers take care of business with an 81-61 victory. Still to come, we'll have a few tips on how you can keep your pet safe this holiday season. Plus a check of the 7-day forecast when KOAM Morning News returns.
Well, it's going to be a pretty cool start to your day. Taking a look outside downtown Pittsburgh, it looks pretty nice out there. Clouds are starting to clear. We did have a little bit of rain this morning, and in some areas, some flurries as well, because temperatures have been so cool these last several hours. Starting yesterday, you can see our high got up to, Tuesday our high got up to low 50s. And then we dropped down high yesterday into the upper 40s, low 50s again. But temperatures have just continued to drop since then. We got below 30 degrees today to start off our morning in the upper 20s. Though right now, we're just about 30 degrees. Cloudy skies, partly cloudy skies. A light breeze as well out of the north, about 5-10 miles per hour. Overall, it is a good day outside of the chilly temperatures. So as we move through the rest of the day, 9 a.m. you can see temperatures starting to creep back into the lower 30s. By noon, we're in the upper 30s, but we drop back down by 6 p.m., starting to dip down into the lower 30s again. Our high hitting low 40s, about 40, 41, 42. So all day it's going to be pretty chilly, although skies do clear, so it's going to be a little sunny as well. Now, let's take a look at our temperatures. You can see over the next couple of hours, still in a little drop still coming down to the upper 20s, 29 in Joplin, 28 in Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, Iola. But we do warm up just slightly. 41 in Joplin, 42 in Miami, 44 in Sedan, 39 still in Monette, Cassville, and Stockton. And then as we head into Friday, temperatures drop yet again. So we're going to be in the mid to even some areas lower 20s, 24 in Stockton, 26 in Joplin, 27 in Veneta, 29 in Sedan. So not so bad. But then winds will shift as we head into Friday. So you can see that wind shift line coming in, then winds are out of the south after that. Won't make a difference for our temperatures really on Friday. We're still going to be in the lower to mid 40s for most of the afternoon, but by Saturday, that's where we're going to start to maybe warm up a little bit. Now, future feels like, so we don't have a really strong wind, but still it's going to feel a little bit chillier. So we saw our highs today getting to the low 40s. It's still going to feel like we're in the mid to upper 30s, so not so bad, but it starts to really make an effect when we have these temperatures that are in the upper 20s or low 30s. It's going to feel like we're in the lower 20s to even the teens. 19 degrees in Nevada, Stockton, Lockwood, Aurora, 21 degrees in Joplin, Pittsburgh, Iola, Girard, and then 28 in Sedan. So not so bad in Sedan, but the rest of us, it's going to feel a little bit cooler than the actual temperatures will be all the way through the next couple of days. Now, we also have a slight chance for some snow to possibly move in. Just some flurries as we head into, we're still making our way through, but as we head into early Saturday morning, you can start to see some flurries starting to creep up. And then mostly just for our northern counties, and then we go back to those sunny skies. Now, our temperatures for Black Friday as we start off our morning, 35 degrees in the morning, 6 a.m., 37 by noon, and then we're getting back into the upper 30s, low 40s for our high. So it's going to be still a chilly day, especially chilly morning tomorrow. After that, we warm up a little bit on Saturday, low 50s with those morning flurries, and then we drop again into Sunday. Now we do go back into the 50s and even 60s next week. We just got to make it through a couple more days of cooler temperatures, and we'll be right back.
Topping Health Watch this morning. HIV positive patients may soon be permitted to receive organ transplants from donors who are also infected with the virus under a new Biden administration rule. The Department of Health and Human Services announcing the final rule that removes the requirement that these types of transplants be conducted only as part of a clinical research. Since 2013, HIV positive organ transplants have been permitted under certain criteria only. Prior to then, there was a federal ban on transplanting organs from donors infected with HIV. Health officials are hopeful the approved rule will expand access to these organs and reduce stigma relating to HIV. The rule applies only to kidneys and livers, but the National Institute of Health has proposed transplants be allowed for other organs, including the lungs, heart, and pancreas. Soccer players who use their heads to control the ball could face a greater risk of brain injuries. Researchers compared MRI brain scans of 352 amateur male and female soccer athletes to 77 non-collision athletes like runners between the ages of 18 and 53. Results showed players who engaged in a lot of soccer headers showed abnormalities on a brain's surface white matter, which is known to be linked to concussion-linked conditions such as chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Sorry about that. The study noted that most of the participants were never diagnosed with a condition or other traumatic brain injury, leading to the possibility that more subtle kinds of head hits might still be damaging the brain. Researchers said the results suggest that abnormalities in white matter could lead to worse cognitive performance. The findings are scheduled to be presented at the annual meeting of the Radiological Society of North America. Research presented at the medical meeting should be considered preliminary until it appears in a peer-reviewed medical journal. As the name implies, Thanksgiving is about giving thanks. That includes providing special affection to our furry friends. But instead of showing them love by sneaking them some table scraps, veterinarians cite the best ways to help keep your pet safe and happy this holiday season. Fox News' Sean Langell reports.
Before you and your family feast this Thanksgiving, veterinarians recommend pet owners show their animal friends a little gratitude. And this holiday season, it can be as easy as setting some boundaries.
The best thing you can do to keep them safe is try and change as little in the environment as you can.
Even if a pet is used to a lot of activity around the home, the extra hustle and bustle on Turkey Day can be overwhelming.
If they're not comfortable around strangers, if there's visitors to your house that don't know the pet, then it's probably best to isolate your pet in another room. Make sure the doors are secure.
And just because folks will be gobbling up a variety of delicacies, it doesn't mean furry friends should also be eating the same foods.
Most pets are not used to eating table food, so anything that's high in fat, anything that contains bones.
Some can even be deadly.
And then there's some specific toxicities: garlic, onion, grapes, chocolate, that tend to be around the table. Typically, if dogs ingest something or cats ingest something, they will show signs like excess salivation, they may vomit, they may have diarrhea.
Meanwhile, as many families start decorating for Christmas around this time,
you need to be careful about lights, things that can be chewed on, anything electrical. Open flames, open fireplaces are extremely dangerous.
But accidents can happen even if you're careful. Because many businesses are typically closed during the holidays, vets recommend having a backup plan.
The first thing to know is, especially outside of hours and during holidays, is where your closest emergency veterinary hospital is. Don't wait till there's an emergency.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Well, temperatures today are going to be cooler for this Thanksgiving. We start off the morning below freezing. 9 a.m. we're getting up to about 31 degrees by noon. We're in the upper 30s across the area. Our high for the day reaching low 40s, about 40, 41, 42 degrees as a max. And then by 6 p.m. we're already dipping back down into the lower 30s with our overnight low yet again dropping down into the mid 20s. It's going to be a cool day and a cool night to come as well. I have a full look forecast coming up.
Right now at 5:30, finding yourself in a pinch this Thanksgiving? We'll have a list of stores that may be able to help.
And we're starting off with below freezing temperatures this morning, plus a chilly day ahead.
There is still time to sign up for this year's Joplin's Turkey Trot.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Sam.
Are you feeling festive already?
I'm feeling Christmassy.
We haven't even had Thanksgiving lunch.
I'm just kidding. I'm very excited for Thanksgiving. Yeah. Me and my dogs, we're gonna cook up a nice Thanksgiving meal. It's gonna be great.
I'm very excited.
What are your Thanksgiving plans?
I am gonna go have lunch with my family and then start decorating for Christmas.
I have already decorated for Christmas, so I'm way ahead of you there.
Well,
but that's okay. It's gonna be chilly today, so I don't want to go outside anyways. It's gonna be, highs in the low 40s. Chilly day. We can go ahead and take a look outside and we'll talk about what we can expect through the rest of the day. We had a little rain this morning though. Most of the roads are clear, although some cars may have a little bit of ice on them. I know mine did when I was getting ready this morning, but you can see most of the roads are clear out there. Watch out for bridges though, just in case. Now 30 degrees current temperature. Clouds are starting to clear out and we've got a light breeze out of the northwest about 5-10 miles per hour. So it is still going to be a bit chilly. It feels like low 20s. So it's still going to feel a little bit cooler than the actual temperature is. So don't forget to bundle up out there. Now we did have a lot of rain north of I-44. You can see just a sprinkle across most of the area. It's enough to kind of get a little freezing layer on your car. I had to scrape my windshield, but some areas you can see just east of Viola, just north of Yates Center, got a little bit of snow this morning. Not widespread and just a few flurries, but overall, you know, we're starting to see those cooler winter temperatures as we start into this Thanksgiving, but December is on Sunday. All right, clouds are starting to clear out. Temperatures, like we just talked about, by 31 by 9 a.m., 36 by noon, and then our high, low 40s, about 40, 41, 42 degrees. But dropping quickly back down into the lower 30s by 6 p.m. and it's going to feel like it's in the 20s by 8 p.m. with our overnight low dropping back down into the mid 20s. But I'll have a full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Lindsay. Multiple stores in the area will be closed today. If you need to run any last-minute errands for forgotten supplies, your choices will be slim. We've provided a list of major retailers and stores in the area that will close their doors for the holiday, as well as some that will remain open. Just head over to KOAMnewsnow.com. On your marks, get set, it's nearly go time. The Starlit Running Company invited runners out to Pennington Station yesterday to pick up early packets for the Joplin Turkey Trot. The Joplin tradition invites families to come out on Thanksgiving Day for a 5K walk or run in downtown Joplin. Participants will receive an event shirt and an amazing finisher medal. They can also expect a DJ, Krispy Kreme donuts, and Bearded Lady coffee. Race organizers say expect a big turnout. They also expect families to have a lot of fun.
1,500 participants this year, and this is an amazing family-friendly event. People come out. It says 5K. We do have a 1 mile participants. It's family friendly, and we raise money from this. We make a donation to the Joplin Trails Coalition.
Late packet pickup will still be available today, starting at 6:30 this morning. The 1 mile race starts at 7:30 a.m. and the 5K starts at 8 a.m., beginning and ending in front of City Hall. The Main Street course will be closed to traffic from 2nd to 7th Street. The Murphy-Landreth Loop will also be closed to traffic. Many places in our area will be serving up Thanksgiving dinners. That won't cost a thing. Scan this QR code on your screen and head over to our events page on the KOAMnewsnow.com for a list of places hosting Thanksgiving Day dinners. Some places may require sign-ups before you can attend, so check in with host organizations to make sure. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on KOAM Morning News. The holiday season is here. We'll have some tips on how you can keep the peace at your next family get-together. Plus, NATO is warning European businesses to be prepared for a wartime scenario. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch. Lebanese troops are on the move in southern Lebanon following a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hezbollah. A number of military vehicles are seen making their way through the streets of Tyre City, heading towards the Israeli-Lebanese border. Lebanon's defense minister reportedly says the Lebanese army will increase deployment of soldiers in southern Lebanon to 10,000 troops. Displaced residents have already begun returning to their homes, but the Lebanese army asked residents to delay returning to the border villages until the Israeli military withdraws. IKEA is the latest company warning that its prices will rise if President-elect Donald Trump's planned tariffs take effect. The home furnishing company has over 450 stores in 52 countries, with about 30% of its products coming from Asian countries. Trump proposed a 25% tariff on imports from Mexico, Canada, and China. Jesper Brodin, the CEO of Inca Group, which owns and operates IKEA, said yesterday he doesn't believe tariffs will support international companies and trade and adding that customers will end up paying more for goods. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken meets with Pope Francis at the Vatican, and he brought along with his family with him as well. Blinken's wife and 2 children met with the Pope after a private conversation between the two. The two spoke on peace as the wars in Gaza and Ukraine continue. Blinken presenting a ceramic plate with a dove on it, symbolizing peace. The visit comes off the heels of a ceasefire deal between Hezbollah and Israel. Leaders hope it could lead to a larger deal that would end the wider conflict in the Middle East. A top NATO official is urging European businesses to be prepared for a wartime scenario. The warning comes amid Russian gains in Ukraine. European governments are already making contingency plans. Fox News Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin has the latest from the Pentagon.
The Biden administration is urging President Zelensky privately to lower the draft age from 25 to 18, warning the number of troops is currently too small to repel the Russian ground force. Ukraine lowered the draft age from 27 to 25 in April, but remains short at least 160,000 troops. Russian troops are gaining ground inside Ukraine. A new assessment by the Institute for the Study of War found Russian forces have gained more than 1,000 square kilometers since September 1st, 2024. Last year, Russian forces gained just 387 square kilometers in all of 2023. In response to Putin's expanding threats, Germany is preparing a list of public and private buildings that could be converted into bunkers if necessary. France is not ruling out the possibility of deploying troops to Ukraine.
We should not set and express red lines. We should set a strategic ambiguity and not say what we ought or what we ought not to do.
NATO's Secretary General was asked about allies sending troops to Ukraine.
I think that would not be wise to do that. You do not want to get in a direct confrontation with allies being a party to the conflict.
Neighboring Poland is telling the EU to shift to a war footing.
If the European Union does not wake up regarding the increase in spending on the armaments industry, then we will really fail to use the possibility.
Meanwhile, the Russian ruble tumbled to its lowest level in 2 years today as a tough new sanctions package closes one of the last conduits of hard currency to Moscow. Interest rates are currently 21%, and Russia's central bank has suspended currency purchases for the rest of this year.
That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Well, we had a little bit of rain and even some snow flurries in some areas, just a little bit, but right now looking pretty clear. Roads are clear as well, but still don't, take extra precautions, especially on bridges, because I woke up to ice on my car from the rain showers this morning. Now, clouds are starting to clear out, so we're looking pretty good out there, but those temperatures are going to be really cold for the rest of the day. Tuesday, we got into the mid to lower 50s. We dropped down for our low in the lower 40s, but didn't really warm up on Wednesday because we had that wind shift line coming in, so upper 40s, low 50s for our high, and then we've just been dropping in temperatures ever since. You can see those temperatures going all the way down to below 30 degrees. Currently, right now, temperatures are just about 30 in some areas, even a little bit lower in some other areas, but it feels like 22 degrees, so it's going to feel a little bit colder than it actually is. We don't have a very strong wind, but still any little bit, especially with temperatures this chilly, we're going to have a little bit of a cooler wind chill. Now, by 9 a.m., we're starting to creep back up, about 31 degrees. By noon, in the mid to upper 30s, with our high reaching low 40s, about 40, 41, maybe 42 as a max. And then we're dropping back down. By 6 p.m., we're already in the lower 30s again, with our overnight low dropping back down into the 20s. So as we can see, we're going to walk through our temperatures for the next couple of days. Our highs today, 41 in Joplin, 42 in Miami, 42 in Neodesha, 44 in Sedan, 39 still in Stockton, Monette, and Cassville. And then our temperatures tonight dropping down into the mid to upper 20s, about 24 in Stockton, 25 in Nevada, 26 in Parsons, 25 in Pittsburgh, 26 in Joplin, 27 out in the southern counties, Veneta, Nowata, Independence, not so bad. But then we have a wind shift line coming in on Friday where it doesn't really affect our temperatures necessarily on Friday. We're still going to be cooler in the lower 40s, but it will affect our temperatures on Saturday with our highs reaching the upper 40s, low 50s for Saturday. We also, on Saturday, have another little winter present. We've got a little bit of snow flurries maybe popping up. You can see by about 3 in the morning. So this is still going to be below freezing in the areas that is below freezing. Nevada 30, but Joplin about 33, Parsons 33. So we're not getting snow down there, but some in those northern counties you can see where we are below freezing. By 9 a.m. we're starting to warm back up again. Joplin 40 degrees, Nevada 36, and the snow is going to start to creep out, but just some flurries out there Saturday morning. Now for Black Friday forecast, by 6 a.m. it's going to be cold, 35 degrees. By noon, only 37 degrees. And then again, our high for the day reaching upper 30s to low 40s. So it's still going to be pretty cool tomorrow, a little bit warmer like we said on Saturday with the possibility of some morning flurries in those northeastern counties, anywhere where it's going to be below freezing for the most of the night. And then we drop back down Sunday, back into the lower 40s. Now we reach 50s and again back into the 60s by next week. So we only have a few more days to get through where it's going to be pretty chilly. I hope everyone has a great rest of your holiday, and we'll be right back.
It's that time of the year again when friends and family gather together to give thanks, share a meal, and enjoy each other's company. But what happens when that company stirs the pot at the dinner table instead of the one on the stove? From politics to lifestyle to generational disagreements, navigating dining room dynamics can get dicey. But Ivan Rodriguez has some tips and tricks to keep the troubles away on Turkey Day.
Every 4 years, Thanksgiving dinner is often served with the hot side of post-election emotions, and the mere mention of politics or social issues may be enough to turn a family feast into a family feud.
We oftentimes talk about there being a price of admission to having conversations, and one of the prices of admission is that you recognize that some self-regulation might be a part of that.
Etiquette expert Daniel Post-Senning of the Emily Post Institute advises building connections over shared experiences, from things like the weather and traffic to something that's happening around you. But if you do choose to wade into controversy, it's important to test the water first.
Get your etiquette antenna out. You might be very comfortable talking about politics, but there's no guarantee that that's the way other people are feeling or approaching those same topics.
It's also best to be cognizant of how those around you are feeling, according to psychologist Lynn Bufka.
I think it's really incumbent on those who feel that they won to really be as gracious as possible about that and as open as possible to their family members.
And to remember that your loved ones are imperfect people who you have long-standing relationships with.
They're not all good or all bad. They're just complicated people with different points of view.
But if the anxiety of a fraught feast has you angling for an excuse, Senning says it's bad form to back out.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
A massive multi-agency bust at the U.S. port nets $18 million in bogus Gibson guitars, and it is music to law enforcement ears. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Federal authorities must be rocking out after thwarting what's being called the largest fake music instrument scam ever. U.S. Customs agents seized 3,000 counterfeit Gibson electric guitars in a cargo container at the port of Los Angeles. Officials say the bogus guitars were likely earmarked to sell to unsuspecting customers in online markets. This isn't exactly the weirdest Gibson guitar grift on record. That honor still belongs to the Canadian man who stole an $8,000 Les Paul by shoving it down his pants. But this is the most valuable bust, to the tune of $18 million, the retail value of a similar haul of genuine Gibsons. Another high-profile bust, and this one is solid gold. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission says they've recovered 37 18th century gold coins stolen nearly 10 years ago. The coins were part of a treasure discovered in 2015 and salvaged from a sunken 1715 Spanish shipwreck. Authorities say a man involved stole a total of 50 coins from the recovered booty, then facilitated illegal sales of the vintage loot. 13 coins are still in the wind, but officials now say the man is facing charges. Finally, speaking of buried treasure, NASA found a super cool one by accident. While surveying a frozen ice sheet in Greenland from the air, radar instruments detected something buried in the ice. It turned out to be the famous Camp Century, a Cold War-era Army base abandoned in 1967 and through decades of accumulating snow and ice, now nestled 100 feet below the frozen surface. It may not be Spanish gold or a gaggle of groovy guitars, but to military science buffs, I'm sure this is music to their ears. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
We'll be right back. Tourists watched a parade of penguins in Harbin, northeast China's Heilongjiang province on Tuesday. 10 penguins of the Harbin Polar Park were taken out for a parade in front of the St. Sophia Cathedral. The event drew a captivated audience of visitors keen to witness this unique winter spectacle. And this might make you a little hungry. Thursday, November 28th is National French Toast Day. The thick, sweet, and savory dish is a staple of the American breakfast table. Bread is dipped into a mix of eggs and milk and then fried until golden. Toppings can be powdered sugar, cinnamon, fruit, and syrup. Although it's called French toast, the dish predates France. A version of it was found in an ancient Roman cookbook. Legend has it a New York innkeeper by the name of Joseph French introduced the dish to the U.S. in the early 1700s. He meant to call it French's toast, but left off the apostrophe and S.
Well, today it's going to be a chilly day. Temperatures only reaching the low 40s, upper 30s for our high, though clouds do clear. It's going to be mostly sunny. And then for the rest of the weekend, looking pretty good. We do maybe start with some snow flurries on Saturday, but outside of that, we are going to be in the 40s until next week. We'll be right back.